this is Raman Gill. Welcome to another episode of the 10,000 Trade Show, where we are mastering trading and creating excellence through the deliberate practice and analysis of 10,000 trades. Today we are looking at a pivot point trade setup. Pivot points are one of my favorite indicators to trade. So let's go on to the charts and we'll take a look at how to identify a pivot point trade setup, what exactly we're looking for in this type of a setup, where to enter the trade, where to place our stop loss, and most importantly, how to exit the trade with a profit. Here we're looking at a pivot point trade setup. This is pound US dollar 1 hour chart. As you may know, I love trading pivot points. Besides pin bar, this is probably one of my most favorite trade setup. So what we're looking for in pivot point trade setup is essentially something, a reversal signal at one of the pivot points. So that could be our daily pivots, or it could be at one of the resistance levels or support levels. So in this case, we have a bearish engulfing candle close right at our daily pivot. So as you can see, price is dropping here and then pulls back into our daily pivot level, and it's not able to go above it. So we do get this bullish candle close, but price is not able to break above. And then we immediately following that, we get a bearish engulfing candle close here. So once we get this bearish engulfing candle close, we know that previously the trend is to the downside here. So this looks like a continuation trade at this point, because if we look from support resistance perspective here, price is holding below this support resistance level right here. So we get a bearish engulfing candle close right at our daily pivot. And if you have been following me, you know, from the perspective of trading pivots, the following day we're looking for price to go right into our daily pivot. So pull back into the daily pivot, give us a close below the daily pivot, and then continue in the direction of the previous trend, which is to the downside. So all of that coming together makes this a good trade setup. Once we get this bearish engulfing candle close, we enter the trade short here. Our stop can go on the other side of these candles, or we can put it above our R1 level here. As we enter the trade short, we can stay with the trade as long as price is dropping. We come into our S1 level, but we see that we don't really get any significant green candle. So that shows us that momentum is still to the downside. So we continue on with our trade. It blows past our S2 level and goes right into our S3 level. And then we see that we get this bullish pin bar right into our S3. We have multiple pins into our S3 level. That shows us that price is not willing to go below the S3 level. And now price has traveled quite a bit from previous day's daily pivot right into our S3 level. So this is a good place for us to exit the trade. From entry to exit here, we get 85 pips in our trade. So just to recap here, in a pivot point trade setup, we're looking for a reversal setup at one of the pivot point levels. In this case, we have a daily pivot here. We get bearish engulfing candle close. Our previous trend is to the downside. So in this case, we would be looking for a pullback into the daily pivot and a continuation trade to the downside. Once we get this bearish candle close here right on the daily pivot, we can enter the trade short. Our stop can either go above this pin here, or it can go on the other side of our R1 level. After we enter the trade, we stay with the trade as long as price is dropping. And then as we see at our S3 level, price starts to have multiple pins to the downside. We get this big bullish pin bar close here. That shows us that chances are it's either going to reverse or pull back. So that's a good place for us to exit the trade. From entry to exit, we get 85 pips in our trade. So our profit is 85 pips or $850 when trading one standard lot. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would like to see more great trade setups like this one, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That's it for today. I'll see you next time.